I started surfing in 1977. My parents owned a surf shop, and my brother and I were introduced to surfing at a really young age and surfed pretty much every day, and been doing it ever since. I shaped my first board, I think I was 12, and I shaped it in the backyard, and we had this pool, and there were foam shavings all over in the pool. My dad comes home and is pissed, and I glassed the board and walked down the path to Seaside and rode it and caught 3 or 4 waves, and then I broke it. It wasn't a very good board, but I loved the process of building a board. So I went back up and made a few more, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. But I've been doing it ever since. I shaped that first one off and on for quite some time. Well, I was working in a corporate job making a lot of money. You know, you're told to go to school and go to college and have kids and start a family and get a house and get a corporate job. And I had this really nice, corporate job that paid a lot of money, but I wasn't surfing or I wasn't building boards, and I was pretty unhappy, with that current job, and it really stemmed from not being in the water. So at about 10 a.m. in the morning, I told my boss I was leaving to go build surfboards. I was freaking out, but I started building boards out of my garage, and just for myself and some friends, and it started to grow pretty quickly. And so I got a space and started partnered up with a friend and started another surfboard company that grew really quickly, and in Southern California. But it was going in a direction that I really didn't see it going so quickly into. ASR, and there were talks of a retail store, which they eventually got, but that wasn't really the direction I wanted to go. Why did I sell my boards for less? Yeah, I get a lot of flack for that, actually. Not from guys that ride my boards, but people in the industry. And that's fine. They just don't know that I do all the work and build all the boards and myself. From designing them to shaping them out, fine-tuning them. I send them over to the CNC. They come in. I dial them in, fin them, glass them, hot coat them, sand them, everything from start to finish. I don't hire anybody to do any of the other work. So it's one thing if you're just selling boards. It's like in China, these boards that are just mass produced and sent over here and undercutting everybody. I don't like that either. But it's one thing if you're doing all the work, you gotta give props to somebody that's gonna bust their ass 12 hours a day, to build surfboards that you don't have to take a loan out to buy. And one of the reasons why I don't price them, near other board labels, because they just have more power, and I don't sell them in shops. It's by selling them in the shops, you don't have that surfer shaper relationship, and having that surfer shaper relationship is extremely important into dialing in a board that's going to work for you. If you go to a shop and you buy a surfboard and take it out and it sucks, what are you going to do? You can't go back to the shop and say, hey, this board is a dog, take it back. I don't want it. You can't do that. You can come in with here and we can work on boards and kind of dial in and figure out what's working, what's not working for you, and build that relationship to hopefully, make you surf better and find a board that actually works for you. It's one thing if you're selling your boards for less, and they don't work. Nobody's going to come back and buy a board to save $200 if it doesn't work. 80% of all my customers are repeat customers. The other 20% are all referrals. I've spent, I think, last year I spent $100 on advertising, and that was stickers. I bought 100 stickers for $1 each, and I think I still have like 90 of them left. So it's not about being this huge brand that's in magazines and selling a bunch of boards. It's really about just keeping it small and simple, and then try to get in the water as much as I can. A lot of my boards are smaller and shorter and a little bit fuller. It's kind of the trend that's going on right now. And you'd think by my site that I'm just building these boards for Groms and things like that, but majority of my riders are 34 years of age up to 45 and 50, and they're bigger guys. So don't be afraid when you see some of these boards that are really small, and don't think that they don't have the paddling power or it's not going to work for you. You know, I had one guy, he was 55 years old and was riding like a 7.4, and it took me 4 years to drop him down to a 5.8. But you know, that transition took so long to actually get him to a point where he was comfortable on a board, and he skips down to the beach now. You know, he's surfing better. His friends see that, they come in, they order boards. So when you go through the site and review the boards, don't be kind of standoffish by the length, because it's about volume or liters, not really the length of the board. So if we can find the right volume for you, I can put that in a 5.6 or a 6.0 or a 6.2 or a 5.3, and just really kind of displace the foam and put it in areas, especially under your chest, that's going to give you paddling power, that you think you might be losing by dropping down a foot or 6 inches or 8 inches. Why do I build surfboards? That's a stupid question. They're surfboards. Once you're in the water, it's free. You can surf whenever you want. You might have to pay for parking, but you know, you get out in the ocean, it doesn't cost you anything. You know, and the other thing is, I can build something with my hands and take it out and ride something that I built. I don't think there's too many jobs, you know, that you can do that in. That's a stupid question. It's certainly not about money, because I don't make any money. You know, I just want to, you know, make a certain amount of boards per year, and I don't make a lot of boards at all. I only make like 300, maybe 350 max. That's 6 boards a week. And that may not sound like a lot, but when you're doing all the work yourself, that's a lot of work. I don't want to build any more boards than that. So you know, if it becomes a job and something that I don't like going to, I don't ever want to get to that point, because I love building surfboards. Why do I build surfboards? It's like saying, like, why do you like gold? Red Bull. It's really good. Helps me shape late. Make all the boards.